you have saved 100,000 Singapore dollars. Maybe it is sitting in a basic bank account, maybe you recently received it as a company bonus, or maybe you spent years of disciplined, quiet grinding to stack it up. It does not matter how you got it. What matters is what happens next. Because 100,000 Singapore dollars is a serious amount of capital. In Singapore, right now, with the absolute right strategy, that lump sum can grow into 1 million Singapore dollars. The only real question is, how fast? For most people in Singapore, getting to your first 100,000 Singapore dollars in liquid cash is an incredibly difficult milestone. On paper, Singaporeans look like some of the strongest savers in the world, with a national savings rate hovering between 35 and 37%. But that is because those numbers include compulsory Central Provident Fund, or CPF, contributions. Once you strip out those locked-up accounts and look at actual, accessible liquid cash, the average working adult has far less. The median gross monthly salary for a full-time employed resident is 5,775 Singapore dollars, including employer contributions. After subtracting those mandatory contributions, your monthly take-home pay is around $4,936. With a high cost of rent, utilities, and daily essentials, saving is a massive battle. If you can save even 1,500 Singapore dollars a month, it will take you over 5 years of perfect discipline to accumulate $100,000 in cash. It represents years of your life compressed into a single number. And what you do with that number from here determines whether those years of sacrifice actually lead somewhere. The entire wealth building game comes down to compound interest. Your money earns a return, then that return earns its own return, and then that return compounded earns even more. It starts slow, almost frustratingly slow, but then it snowballs. There is a simple mathematical shortcut to understand this speed. It is called the rule of 72. You take 72 and divide it by your annual rate of return. That gives you the exact number of years it takes to double your money. If you can earn an 8% annual return, it takes exactly 9 years to double your capital. Your $100,000 becomes $200,000 in 9 years. Then, it takes another 9 years to turn that $200,000 into $400,000, and another 9 years to turn $400,000 into $800,000. By the fourth cycle, your money is growing so fast that a single good year can add more to your net worth than several years of hard work in your day job. The first doubling is where most people lose faith. 9 years go by, and all you have done is add another $100,000. It does not feel life-changing. But during the second doubling, you are no longer compounding on your original $100,000. You are compounding on $200,000. The returns are literally twice as large. By the time you are compounding on $500,000, the momentum is unstoppable. Let us look at your first investment option in Singapore for 2026. Keeping the money in a high-interest savings account. Banks like United Overseas Bank, or UOB, Overseas Chinese Banking Corporation, or OCBC, and Development Bank of Singapore, or DBS, offer structured interest rates. The OCBC 360 account offers up to 4.45% annual interest on your first $100,000, but only if you meet complex criteria like buying investment or insurance products through them. For a typical salaried worker who just credits their salary and spends on the linked card, the realistic rate drops to around 2.05%. The DBS multiplier, or UOB One accounts, offer a realistic maximum of around 1.9%. At a realistic 2% annual return, your 100,000 Singapore dollars will take exactly 116 years to reach 1 million. If you factor in core inflation, your real purchasing power after inflation is practically zero. A savings account is an excellent tool for your short-term emergency fund, but keeping your entire wealth there is a guaranteed way to let inflation slowly destroy your hard work. Your second option is investing in the local Singapore stock market. The benchmark Straits Times Index, or STI, which tracks Singapore's top 30 blue-chip companies like DBS, OCBC, and Singtel, has historically delivered an annualized total return of around 8.0% when dividends are reinvested. Because Singapore has a unique, massive structural advantage where received dividends are completely free of tax, you get to keep every single cent of those returns. At an 8% compound return, with zero extra monthly contributions, your 100,000 Singapore dollars will reach 1 million in exactly 29.9 years. You have just slashed more than 80 years off the bank account timeline, simply by choosing a more efficient investment vehicle. Your third option is going global by investing in developed markets like the United States S&P 500 Index. The smartest way for a Singapore resident to do this is through an Irish-domiciled exchange-traded fund, or ETF, like the ticker CSPX on the London Stock Exchange. Because the fund is registered in Ireland, it bypasses the heavy United States estate tax and enjoys a lower tax rate on United States dividends. Over the long term, the S&P 500 Index has delivered average annual returns of around 11.0%. At an 11% annual return, with absolutely zero extra contributions, your 100,000 Singapore dollars will grow into 1 million in exactly 22 years. But you are not going to just sit there and add nothing for 20 years. Let us see what happens when you add monthly contributions to your investment engine. If you invest your initial 100,000 Singapore dollars into a global index fund and contribute a modest $500 a month at an 11% return, the timeline to hit 1 million drops to just 15.5 years. If you increase your contributions to 1,000 Singapore dollars a month, you hit 1 million in exactly 12.9 years. And if you are highly disciplined, earning well, and can contribute 2,000 Singapore dollars a month on top of your starting capital, you will cross the $1 million line in just 10.9 years. You can accelerate this timeline even further using unique Singaporean wealth hacks. The Supplementary Retirement Scheme, or SRS, allows you to contribute up to 15,300 Singapore dollars a year while reducing your taxable income dollar for dollar. But there is an urgent, time-sensitive move happening right now. The statutory retirement age in Singapore is 63, but the government is officially raising it to 64, starting from the 1st of July 2026. If you open an SRS account and deposit just one single Singapore dollar before that date, you permanently lock in your penalty-free withdrawal age of 63 for life. That is 1 full year of earlier tax-free access to your wealth for the price of a single dollar. Furthermore, you can transfer excess funds from your Central Provident Fund Ordinary Account, which pays 2.5%, into your special account to lock in a guaranteed, risk-free 4% interest rate. This creates a solid, government-backed safety net that compounds quietly alongside your equity portfolio. Once you cross the $1 million mark in liquid investable assets, your life changes. By applying a conservative 4% withdrawal rate, your portfolio will generate 40,000 Singapore dollars a year in passive income without you ever touching your principal. That is over 760 Singapore dollars landing in your account every single week while you sleep. Because Singapore has zero capital gains tax, that is clean, tax-free cash. It is the kind of freedom where you work because you want to, not because you have to. And here is the secret that nobody talks about. The second million comes twice as fast as the first. At an 11% return on $1 million, your portfolio is generating $110,000 a year in growth alone. The compounding machine does not slow down. It aggressively accelerates. Every single year you delay starting has a massive compounding cost. It is not just one lost year of returns. It is one lost year of compounding on every single year that follows. The mechanics are simple. You open a low-cost brokerage account, set up automatic monthly transfers into diversified index exchange-traded funds, and then you do absolutely nothing. You do not panic when the market drops. You do not try to time the market. And you let time do the work. Your starting 100,000 Singapore dollars can become 1 million in 12 years. Or it can take over a century. The choice depends entirely on two simple things: where you put your money and how much you keep adding. If this video helped you understand the real mathematics of building wealth in Singapore, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments how fast you are planning to hit your first million. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.